Every goal in your life comes with a price tag, whether you see it or not. Nothing you desire is free. Nothing you dream about will show up without a cost. Every vision, every breakthrough, every transformation has a payment attached to it, and life will always ask you to pay before it delivers. The mistake most people make is assuming that goals are achieved by desire alone. But desire is only the spark. The real transaction happens in discipline, in sacrifice, in consistency, and in the choices you make daily. When you set a goal, you're not just declaring what you want, you're declaring what you are willing to endure to get it. You're declaring the hours you will invest, the habits you will destroy, and the version of yourself you are willing to let die so a stronger version can be born. You pay the price before you receive the promise. You pay in private long before you shine in public. Too many people want the reward without the cost, the success without the struggle, the trophy without the training. But life doesn't work like that. The universe honors those who invest first and wait for the return. And the truth is simple. The bigger the goal, the higher the investment. If your dream is massive, your sacrifice must be massive. If your vision is global, your focus must be unshakable. The size of your goal will always determine the size of the price tag. You can't expect $1 million outcome with a minimum wage effort. You can't expect to transform your life while holding on to the same habits that have been holding you back. Growth demands letting go. Elevation demands separation. Expansion demands commitment. Comfort is the most expensive thing you will ever own. It costs you opportunities. It costs you growth. It costs you potential. Most people underestimate how much comfort steals from them. They cling to familiar routines, predictable days, and easy choices without realizing they are paying with their destiny. If you refuse to pay the price of discipline today, you will pay the price of regret tomorrow. And regret demands interest. It grows heavier. It grows louder. It grows more painful over time. You must also recognize that your environment determines the price point of your success. If you surround yourself with people who don't dream, who complain, who settle, you will pay a cheap price and get a cheap result. But when you put yourself around people who push, people who think bigger, people who refuse to stay average, the standard rises, your effort rises, your expectation rises, your life rises. You cannot buy a luxury destiny in a discount environment. And yes, the price tag is heavy. Yes, the cost will stretch you, challenge you, and sometimes make you question whether the goal is worth it. But understand this, regret costs more. Regret is the bill you pay for the dreams you didn't chase, the potential you didn't use, and the greatness you never activated. Discipline may be uncomfortable, but regret is unbearable. Every goal in your life is asking you a simple question. Are you willing to pay what I cost? If you are, then commit fully. Show up stronger than ever. Sacrifice what needs to go. Learn what needs to be learned. Become who you must become. Because the moment you decide to pay the full price, life will deliver the reward. And when you hold that victory, when you walk in that new level of success, you will say to yourself, it was worth every single thing it required. Your goals aren't waiting for your desire. Your goals are waiting for your decision. And the moment you decide, everything changes. Every goal has a hidden cost, a price most people never see when they first dream about the future. When you look at someone who has achieved something extraordinary, a thriving business, a strong body, a powerful mindset, a life of abundance, you see the result, but you don't see the sacrifices buried beneath it. You don't see the early mornings, the late nights, the doubts they wrestled with, or the comfort they walked away from. You don't see the moments where they had to choose discipline over distraction, purpose over pleasure, and long-term vision over short-term feelings. Every dream whispers to you, I can be yours, but it never tells you up front what it will require. That part is revealed only after you start working toward it. You can't achieve greatness without giving up something in exchange. Every breakthrough demands a trade, whether it's your time, your ego, your habits, or the comfortable routines that keep you stuck where you are. Some costs feel small at first, but as you climb higher, the price increases. The greater the transformation, the greater the demand. And the hidden cost isn't just what you give up, it's who you must become. Goals don't ask you to work for the sake of working. They ask you to grow. They ask you to evolve. They ask you to raise your standards, to strengthen your character, and to build a level of discipline that aligns with the level of success you're reaching for. That inner transformation is part of the price, often the hardest part, because it requires honesty, responsibility, and consistency. Most people love the idea of a goal, but run from the cost. They want the reward without the refining. They want the destination without the journey. But the hidden cost is the separator. It's what filters dreamers from doers, wishers from achievers, and the average from the exceptional. When you understand that every goal has a price and you're willing to pay it, you step into a different category of person. You stop hoping and start building. You stop waiting and start working. And that is when the goal begins to move toward you just as much as you're moving toward it. Pay the cost, accept the demand, lean into the process. Because once you do, the outcome that once felt out of reach becomes inevitable. You pay the price before you receive the promise, because life never hands out rewards on credit. Every meaningful goal requires an upfront investment long before the results show up. You don't plant a seed and demand fruit the next morning. You plant, you water, you protect, you nurture, and only then do you get to harvest. Success follows the same law. You put in the hours before anyone applauds. You stay consistent before anyone believes in you. You stretch yourself before the breakthrough arrives. That's the way life tests you, trains you, and prepares you for what you're asking for. The promise always comes after the payment. You must show that you're committed when nothing is happening yet, when progress feels slow, and when your old habits try to drag you back to who you used to be. That is the price. Showing up when your emotions don't agree, giving your best when the outcome still looks uncertain, disciplining yourself when no one is watching, and trusting the process even when the results are invisible. Most people quit in this stage because they expect instant gratification, but greatness is never instant. It's earned in silence before it's revealed in public. The price you pay is not just physical effort, it's mental resilience, emotional endurance, and spiritual conviction. You must believe in the promise, even when your reality hasn't caught up yet. You must act like the person you want to become long before you see the evidence. You must upgrade your habits before your lifestyle upgrades. You must shift your thinking before your circumstances shift. That is how you align with the level you're reaching for. When you continue paying the price day after day, step after step, something powerful happens. The promise begins to manifest. The opportunities show up. The doors open. The momentum builds. But none of that happens until you've proven you're willing to invest first. The harvest is guaranteed to those who refuse to quit during the planting season. The promise is real. The reward is real. The transformation is real. But they all come after the price is paid. When you understand this, you stop asking, when will it happen? And you start focusing on, what must I do today? Because the promise is waiting. It's just waiting for you to finish the payment. The bigger the goal, the higher the investment, because life will never allow you to access a higher level with a lower level effort. If your vision is small, the cost is small. But the moment you decide to pursue something significant, something meaningful, something that stretches your capacity and elevates your life, the price increases. Big goals require big discipline. Big dreams demand big sacrifice. You cannot expect to accomplish something extraordinary while clinging to ordinary habits. When you set a large goal, you're not just asking for a result, you're asking for a transformation. And transformation is expensive. It costs time, energy, focus, humility, learning, and a willingness to be uncomfortable. You must give up things you used to enjoy. You must let go of people who slow you down. You must break patterns that feel familiar but keep you stuck. A bigger vision requires a bigger version of you, and becoming that person is part of the investment. Most people admire big achievements but never understand the cost behind them. They see the outcome but not the process. They see the success but not the sacrifice. They want the level but not the load. They want the elevation without the pressure, the reward without the requirement. But the universe has a strict economy. You only receive at the level you're willing to invest. If your goal is to grow financially, you must invest in knowledge, discipline, and strategic action. If your goal is to transform your health, you must invest in consistency, nutrition, and self-control. If your goal is to build strong relationships, you must invest in communication, patience, and personal growth. Every area has a cost, and the larger the target, the greater the commitment needed to reach it. When you aim for something massive, there will be days that stretch you, moments that challenge you, and obstacles that try to break you. That's not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's confirmation that you're pursuing something worth fighting for. The pressure is proof of the magnitude of your destiny. The challenges are indicators of the size of your calling. A big goal will demand your best, not your leftovers. It will require focus when you'd rather drift, discipline when you'd rather relax, and consistency when you'd rather quit. But the return on that investment is a life that matches your potential instead of your excuses. So don't fear the cost of a big goal. Fear the cost of settling for a small one, because when the investment is high, the reward is high. And when you become the person capable of paying that price, you become the person capable of living the life you were designed for. Comfort is the most expensive thing you'll ever own because it silently steals your potential while making you feel safe. It whispers, "Stay here, you're fine," even when you know deep inside that you were created for more. Comfort convinces you to avoid challenges, to ignore growth opportunities, to settle for routines that feel good in the moment but cost you your future in the long run. It's the silent tax on your destiny, one you don't notice until you realize years have passed and nothing has changed. Comfort keeps you in the same job, the same habits, the same patterns, the same mindset, even when those things no longer serve your purpose. It trains you to settle for average, because average requires nothing of you. It's easy, it's predictable, it's familiar. But that familiarity has a price. It blocks progress, limits vision, and suffocates potential. You might feel safe, but you're paying with your greatness. The irony is that people think discomfort is expensive because it demands effort, sacrifice, discipline, and vulnerability. But discomfort is actually the down payment on growth. Comfort is the bill you pay for staying the same, and that bill grows larger the longer you refuse to step outside your familiar limits. Every day you stay comfortable is a day you lose momentum. Every day you avoid change is a day your future becomes smaller. Every day you cling to what feels easy is a day you sacrifice what could have been extraordinary. Comfort protects your feelings but destroys your future. It shields you from temporary inconvenience but exposes you to long-term regret. And regret is the highest interest debt you can ever owe. It will haunt you. It will weigh on you. It will whisper, "You could have been more. You should have tried. You were capable of greatness." That emotional cost is far heavier than the discomfort of effort, discipline, or sacrifice. The moment you decide to let go of comfort, everything expands. Your vision grows. Your courage strengthens. Your confidence rises. You discover abilities you didn't know you had and opportunities you couldn't see before. Discomfort is where your greatness is born. It stretches you, molds you, sharpens you, and prepares you for the level you're chasing. Comfort may feel good, but it costs too much. It costs dreams. It costs progress. It costs purpose. And if you stay in it too long, it will cost your destiny. But the moment you choose temporary discomfort over permanent regret, you unlock the life you were meant to live. Your environment determines your price point because the people, places, and conversations around you set the standard for what you believe is normal, possible, and acceptable. You cannot rise while surrounded by people who have no intention of growing. You cannot pursue excellence while living in a space that rewards mediocrity. Your environment either elevates your ambition or discounts your destiny. And most people never achieve what they're capable of simply because they stay in rooms that shrink them instead of stretch them. Every environment carries an invisible expectation. Some environments normalize complaining, excuses, and comfort. Others normalize discipline, vision, and forward motion. When you surround yourself with people who aim low, your goals begin to shrink to match their expectations. But when you surround yourself with high performers, people who think bigger, dream louder, and demand more of themselves, you naturally raise your standards to match theirs. This is why two people with equal talent can end up with completely different outcomes. One stayed in a limited environment, the other stepped into a growth environment. Your environment determines what you believe is worth paying the price for. If you're around people who settle, you'll start believing that settling is acceptable. If you're around people who are hungry, focused, and purpose-driven, you'll start believing that greatness is the minimum standard. You are influenced more than you realize, not because you're weak, but because humans are wired to adapt to their surroundings. The question is, are you adapting upward or downward? Sometimes the price you need to pay isn't money or effort, it's distance. Distance from negativity, distance from distractions, distance from relationships that keep you stuck. You can't grow in an environment that constantly reminds you of your past. You grow in one that pushes you toward your future. And sometimes that means leaving familiar circles, creating new boundaries, or stepping into rooms that intimidate you, because intimidation is often a sign that you've entered a higher level environment. Your environment should challenge you, not comfort you. It should stretch your thinking, not shrink your dreams. It should raise your expectations, not reinforce your limitations. When you deliberately choose environments that align with your goals, you automatically raise the price you're willing to pay. Your effort increases, your discipline strengthens, your habits improve. Why? Because you're surrounded by people and surroundings that demand the best version of you. If you want to elevate your life, elevate your environment. The right environment will show you what's possible. The wrong environment will convince you to give up before you even try. Your destiny has a price, and your environment determines whether you pay it or avoid it. The price tag is heavy, but regret costs more, because every worthwhile goal demands effort, discipline, and sacrifice. And while that cost can feel overwhelming, it is nothing compared to the lifetime weight of knowing you could have done more but didn't. Paying the price today may stretch you, stress you, and push you beyond your comfort zone, but regret will break you in ways you can't repair. Regret is the emotional debt that grows with time. The longer you avoid the work, the heavier that debt becomes, and eventually it becomes a burden that shadows everything you do. The price tag of your goal might cost you sleep, comfort, easy choices, and temporary pleasures. It might cost you relationships that no longer align with your purpose. It might cost you hours of practice, training, learning, and self-reflection. But all of those costs serve you. They build you, refine you, and prepare you for the life you're trying to create. Regret, on the other hand, serves nothing. It teaches too late. It arrives after the door is closed and the opportunity has passed. It whispers, you should have tried. You had more inside you. You settled. And those whispers become a constant reminder of what could have been. Regret is the currency of inaction. It's the bill you pay when you choose fear over faith, comfort over courage, excuses over effort. And that bill doesn't show up right away. Regret is slow, quiet, and sneaky. It builds year after year until one day you wake up realizing that the life you're living is far smaller than the one you were capable of creating. That realization hurts more than any sacrifice you could have made. When you pay the price for your goals, you experience growth, progress, and momentum, even if it's uncomfortable. When you run from the price, you experience stagnation, frustration, and disappointment. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the pain of regret can last a lifetime. One leads you forward, the other holds you captive. You don't want to grow old telling stories of what you wanted to do. You want to grow old celebrating what you had the courage to pursue. You don't want to remember the dreams you abandoned. You want to remember the victories you earned. And every victory requires payment up front. The price tag is heavy because greatness is heavy. Excellence is heavy. Purpose is heavy. But once you carry that weight long enough, you become strong enough to handle it and strong enough to enjoy the rewards it brings. So yes, the price is high, but regret is higher. And if you must choose a pain, choose the one that leads to a better life, not the one that leaves you wondering what could have been. Every goal in your life asks you one simple question: are you willing to pay what I cost? And throughout this entire journey, you've learned that nothing you desire comes without a price. You've seen that every dream requires sacrifice. Every breakthrough demands discipline. Every elevation calls for the death of old habits and the birth of new standards. You've learned that you must invest before you receive, grow before you arrive, and believe before you see results. You've discovered that comfort is the silent enemy of greatness, that your environment shapes your expectations, and that regret will always cost more than any sacrifice required for success. Now the decision is in your hands. Will you stay where it's comfortable, familiar, and predictable? Or will you step into the discomfort that leads to growth, transformation, and purpose? Will you surround yourself with people who settle? Or will you rise to environments that stretch you? Will you live a life built on excuses or a life built on effort? The price may feel heavy today, but the reward waiting for you is far greater than anything you leave behind. This is your moment to choose the life you were created for. Not the life of convenience, but the life of conviction. Not the life of average, but the life of excellence. Not the life of regret, but the life of fulfillment. Whatever your goal is, whatever dream keeps pulling on your heart, pay the price, make the commitment, do the work, and stay the course. Because the day will come when you stand in the reality of the very thing you once only imagined, and in that moment, you will understand one powerful truth: it was worth it.